What is up, YouTube? Back in the nest. Yeah, it's been a minute. Just been kind of getting through the holiday season, having fun with family and friends, and getting ready for the new year. Hopefully everyone got at least one of the things they wanted. Wanted to come in here and do kind of a last video of the year, kind of wrap it up, and trying to post a little bit more on here, a little bit less short form, a little bit more long form. So figured we'll do something pretty simple. What's in my bag, the kind of gear I'm going to be going into 2026 with. This is the Wandered Provoke Light V1. Didn't want anything too bulky when I'm out moving around or hiking. A lot of the photo shoots that I do, sometimes there's a little bit of a hike going in. Never really afraid to like get wet or cross a creek if I have to get the shot, but I did not want to be walking around with something heavy or something bulky or something getting all hung up on branches. So I went ahead with the 20-liter Provoke Light, and it's been my workhorse. I know now they've had, I think, 1 or 2, maybe even 3 new versions come out, adjusting some things. I've never had an issue with mine. I used to see the bag on other creators all the time, and I mean, that's how I kind of fell into looking into the company and just kind of going over what they had and what they offered, from small bags to bigger bag. It just looks more like a designer bag. So you're not really ever worried about, like, if you're walking around bigger city stuff, you know, nowadays you're not really too worried about someone picking up on the fact that it is a camera bag. You know, for the most part, it just looks like a really nice backpack. It carries everything that I need from A to Z for most of my shoots, and anytime that I'm making content, if I'm taking my camera stuff with me, which is pretty much every week. So let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what I'm rocking. First and foremost, number one thing that's always in the camera bag, and it's not in there right now because I'm currently filming on it, is my Sony a7 III. That's the camera that I use for everything. And it's generally when I'm heading to a shoot, it's the number one thing I remember to pack most of the time. But it is always in my camera bag, just to keep it safe, you know, just to have my camera put away unless I'm working on stuff in the office or I'm pulling, you know, any kind of pictures off of it or, you know, videos off of it. You just never know. So it's always nice to be ready. A camera's nothing without its lenses. So of course, inside of my backpack is assorted lenses. Everything from my 28 to 70, which still to this day is extremely slip-on. I've taken some really great photos with a kit lens, and I know most people see it and they toss it to the side the second they buy the camera. But when I bought this camera, you know, I wasn't coming into it with a bunch of money or a bunch of experience, so this lens was what got me going and just trying and taking more and more pictures, and you know, it came with the camera, so you can't beat that. So I do generally throw this in there just for any kind of zoom work or anything that I need to do a little bit close up and have a little bit of, you know, flexibility when I'm taking photos. It's not my best lens, but it is always in the bag. Another lens that is always in the bag, I generally don't ever take this one out because it's gotten me out of a lot of sticky situations. My 50mm or my nifty 50, if you want to go with that. Got this lens for about 280 bucks, I think, 290. I'll have to double check that. Out the door, right at Best Buy. I actually bought this going to my first family photo shoot that I got booked to do. I got asked to do from a friend, and I was all nervous, and I went and was like, I need a 50mm. So I got this lens, and it has been amazing ever since. You really can't go wrong with it. I mean, there's a lot of applications for a 50mm, but having it in your bag is just nice. And I generally always shoot on a 24mm just for the look. But being able to punch in with a 50mm in moments where I need it is something that I like to always have the capability to do. Another piece in my backpack that is technically a camera would be my DJI Mini 3. I love my drone. If we're going to be honest, it's not my first drone. It is actually my second drone twice removed. My first one took a pretty big spill, was just wrecked over losing it for the couple months that I did. Went ahead, bought the same drone because I loved it. I knew how it worked. I thought I knew how to fly it. Went ahead, got this guy, and then, of course, a couple flights later, I was super timid, and I ended up putting this thing into a tree and breaking it apart.
Am I not supposed to have what I want?
However, after doing some digging, I found out that DJI actually does offer a pretty good rebuild program, and they'll take pretty good care of you. They'll get your stuff up and running, and they did. So this guy is rebuilt.
It's alive!
But works like a champ. They checked it through, sent me a full report. I think I paid like $60 for them to fix a couple things, tune up an arm, and send it on back. And it's always in my bag. You know, you just never know when you want to get a nice drone shot, something cool. I usually throw a little bit here and there in my work, so it's just nice to have that capability to go high and get some really cool shots to go with it. Highly recommend the DJI controller RC, which has its own screen. You're not hooking your phone to it. You're not having to worry about connectivity, and just, you know, this thing's all in one, ready to rock. They're synced, so turn them both on and you're flying within, you know, 30 seconds. So, I mean, I don't think there's another drone out there that's beating DJI in quality in general. I mean, I love my DJI drone, and I have been hearing it's gonna possibly get a little bit harder to get them, so I'm even more cautious to send this thing up, because who knows if I could even get it fixed. So hopefully some of those type of things change, but for the most part, just using it for small things. I'm not doing anything dangerous. I'm not, you know, flying any kind of like missions or anything with it. So hopefully we can keep it safe for the next year or two. Another camera that I've been carrying around with me and I've actually been having a lot of fun with is my Kodak Mini Shot 3. And it doubles as a printer too, so I can actually print any photo, whether it's from an A7 III, any other camera, iPhone pictures. I can print anything on this in a small little strip of film. I actually kind of started using it for the idea of when I go do family shoots or couple shoots, or, you know, intimate like solo shoots for somebody who's doing something, maybe, you know, graduation photos, whatever. I've actually been kind of toying around with the idea of just being able to snap a small little piece of film, throw it in a sleeve, and kind of give it to them as like a, you know, a thank you gift. It's just a small little thing. It's just nice to have something tangible when you're shooting photos. So I do like to use this, and it's in my bag from time to time. And, you know, if you watch any of my content, you'll see me print some photos here and there. And I mean, the photos are pretty sweet. Being able to print out a photo on a nice little piece of film, number them. I usually throw a business card in there, leave it at a coffee shop if you can. Throw it somewhere, you know, wherever you're at, store, throw it out there, maybe someone will pick it up. Oh my God. The only creamer I had today was pumpkin spice. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to be drinking pumpkin spice on New Year's Eve? Also, for my camera, always an assortment of lens filters, everything from Polar Pro to K&F. I generally keep it pretty good with them, and everything from polarizers to mist filters, stuff like that, I like to use for my style of work, and they're just nice. You know, if you are shooting on a camera and you've never gotten into using any kind of filters or any kind of, you know, anything like that that's like a screw-on filter for your lens, highly recommend look into them, kind of just see what fits your style. A different kind of filter, but still on the screw-in filter family, but I've been playing with these for the last couple months, and if you watch any of my content, you would have seen a couple shots thrown in that we're using these, and that is a 4-pack of diopters. Definitely always been around. I mean, I can't really justify spending a bunch of money on a macro lens. I would love to, but they're as much as a normal lens, just to be able to get these really beautiful close-up shots, and I do love those shots, but these are kind of like a little bit of a cheat code. So you do get a 4-pack of them. They're pretty sweet. You know, they stop up from 2 to 6 to 8 to 10. So with this set, I'm able to get really cool close-up shots, whether I'm, you know, getting close up on myself, or just a dramatic shot of, you know, like a close-up of a keyboard or a close-up of a coffee cup. You know, it's just nice to have that flexibility, especially being that I shoot mainly on one fixed prime lens, so I can change my prime lens to almost a completely different lens just using diopters. Almost as important as the gear, the cords that charge it. I always have my chargers, especially when I'm traveling or when, you know, I'm taking off for the day. You just never know. Again, we've all been there. You show up, your camera only has like 40% battery and you gotta shoot 100 photos. So having your chargers always in your backpack, especially when you're prepping your backpack to go out and shoot stuff, is a no-brainer. I've definitely always put it in my mental checklist just to always know that when I'm going somewhere, a trip, or if I'm going, to go shoot a quick photo shoot here in town, I always pack my chargers. You never know when you're going to need them, especially the fact that you can use these, whether they're in an outlet, whether they're in your truck, but it's just nice to always have. And, when you're on a trip, you have your chargers. I've actually been able to always kind of be lucky to get away with my Sony charger for my camera. And then my, obviously, iPhone charger just to charge my phone. And then my phone charger also doubles as a charger for my drone. So that's kind of a win, I guess. But just nice to always have chargers in the bag. Again, you always need them. So keep them packed. Always good to have in the backpack because, again, the inner survivalist inside of me always thinks, you can't really go wrong with having a good pocket knife in your backpack just for any kind of situation, whether you got to trim something, maybe there's a bush in the way for a good shot. Use it sometimes as a screwdriver if you got to adjust, a cage on a camera, or maybe your magic arm is being a little stubborn, you got to get a screw out of there. Just always comes in handy. Rubber ties. I ended up finding these at Home Depot. I'd seen some guys use these in the construction world, and I'd seen them on, truck racks and tying down different things, and I loved them when I saw them, and I was like, man, I could probably find an application for this in the world of photography and making videos and stuff. And for one thing, you can use them in your office to, strap anything to a variable. If you got to use your, if you got to get your camera to a weird angle and you need a little bit of extra support for, your small rig arm or anything like that, these things come in a pinch. But I mainly use these for my backpack. My backpack itself, being the version 1, it doesn't have the actual straps for the water bottle area on the side of it for the side pocket. So just having these, I can actually just throw them on, and I generally use that one pocket to throw a tripod in there, like a medium-sized one. So just having this allows me to keep it strapped to the backpack and, keep it from moving around or falling out if I'm walking down somewhere, walking to a beach, it's not falling in the sand. So these things are awesome though. You can pretty much do, anything you want with them. So just nice to have little things like this, ties and tape, always come in handy in a backpack. Speaking of tape, always nice to have a roll of tape. You never know when it's going to come in handy. And from labeling stuff to keeping things secure, you just can't go wrong with a good roll of just simple tape. So I do always keep this in my bag or in the office in general, just to be able to use whenever I need it. So not one of the coolest things in the bag, but definitely gets its use. My camera cleaning kit. This thing has everything you could ever need in a pinch, whether your camera takes a tumble, we've all been there. If your lens gets some dust on it, and you want to keep all your stuff nice. This kit comes with everything from, really nice Q-tips to really nice brushes. You got your lens spray, you got your, finer brush. Always nice to be able to have something that you can wipe your lenses safely with. Everyone, if you're in the photography game, you know what this is. The more you keep your camera clean, obviously the longer your camera's gonna last. So after big shoots or after a hike, when I'm going in with my camera to go get a really cool shot, I'll come home to my, to the office, come in here, bring my camera and just break it down, clean it, do what I can, and just, trying to keep the camera alive as long as I can. We spend a lot of money on these things as creatives and photographers and filmmakers and stuff like that, so, try to keep your stuff alive as long as you can, and your stuff will take care of you if you take care of it. So another thing that's always in my backpack would be, I actually kind of have like a weird collection thing that I always am looking for, like really nice pins. So I ended up getting this Peak Design bag from them when I bought my camera strap, actually. So they sent me this really cool bag, but I ended up retrofitting it to be my little pen case. So I generally always carry notebooks around, so I like to always find like really nice pens. So, I got a pretty good little assortment of different pens and different things that I like. Good highlighter. You always got to have a nice highlighter on hand if you got to highlight something important. And And then, we'll do pins right in. My notebook. So just nice to always have this. If you're in the creative space, I ended up using one of these just from, taking tons of lessons from other creatives and just watching YouTube or any kind of film content, stuff like that, and just learning that, like, the more you do something, if you're writing it down, you can remember it better. You can kind of always go back to it. It's just nice, when you do a photo shoot. I generally like to write down, what I thought, what I thought I could have improved on. Maybe I did something, when I was in that photo shoot and I had a certain setting on my camera that I wanted to log just because I liked the way it looked, or I liked the way I was shooting, and maybe that shutter speed was nice. So it's just nice to have that, and then just to kind of log, the thoughts that come. If you have an idea for a video, I'll always throw it in this and just kind of keep it so that way on a rainy day when I got to make a piece of content or anything like that, I have it. I can go right to this thing, be like, you know what, let's do that idea today. So a good notebook is always good to have in the backpack. For more fast-paced stuff though, for, lists of what I need, trying to remember to pack everything, stuff like that. Good field notes is always here with my notebook. So these little field notebooks are just awesome. They're super tiny. You're not really too worried about keeping them all nice. You can kind of drop the OCD and mark these things up and write down what you're thinking, and I use this from everything from, photo shoot stuff, trying to remember, certain poses I want to try to incorporate for what shoot, or locations, and, just different little things, different little notes to remind myself, even when I'm coaching soccer, keep plays in here, just always throw this in the back pocket and, always have it on hand. So these things are amazing, and, they come in a million different colors, whatever fits your fancy. So can't go wrong with these. This last year I ended up getting into printing my own stickers. So I do always carry these around. It's just cool, always have, your logo with you and your company logo. If you've watched any of my short form stuff, it always pops up in it. So it's just nice having, tangible stuff, just always have these on hand if I want to, throw it on a water bottle, give it out to friends, clients, even when I'm shooting families and stuff. It's just a nice little thing to have, if kids are, tougher to work with, you can just break out some stickers and be like, hey, look, here's the prize if we can get through these photos. So it's just nice to always have fun stuff like this in your backpack. So yeah, the backpack itself, the Provoke Light is just awesome. This thing is a workhorse. I mean, I've put this thing on rocks, I've put this thing in the dust, I've, cleaned it off a million times, and it always looks brand new. A couple other really cool things on the backpack, my Peak Designs capture clip. I mean, this thing is awesome, especially when you're working with clients and you're actually having to, physically pose them and kind of get in there and help them and kind of show them some things, so that way you're not constantly swinging the camera around. You can literally just quick clip it right here to your strap. It hangs, never goes anywhere. You can actually lock it in place, and it's just awesome. So having this is just nice to be able to get completely hands-free. Nice little piece of tech to have on your backpack. Also too, just to kind of, a little bit of backpack flair, my daughter ended up giving me this really cool keychain from a show that we watched together. So it's just nice to kind of have, a little piece of something on there. Remind you of why you're doing it. But anyway, that's my bag, and glad I got to break it down with you guys. And for the most part, having a good bag and doing anything creative is just kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you don't got to spend the most money on them, but it is nice when you have one that is exactly how you want it and does the things you want. I mean, you can really make it however you want it to be and however you need it to be for the stuff you do and however you want to create. So big shout out to Wandered for making such a cool bag, and maybe one of these days I'll get my hands on one of their newer bags, check that out, see what I think. I mean, I'm sure they've only gotten better. So yeah, that's my bag, and today is New Year's Eve. I'm sure this video won't come out on New Year's Eve, but just really nice to be able to come onto here and just kind of wrap it up for the year and keep on pushing the content, keep on trying to give you guys any kind of advice that I can, and just keep showing the process as I go. So I appreciate it, and I hope everyone had a great holiday season, and I hope everyone has a really good new year, and be safe and have fun, and we'll see you around. Peace.